great film. We really pleased with things that we saw on film in all three phases. Obviously, some things to correct and to work on this week. But if I'm looking at it from my perspective, the improvement from week 1 to week 2 did take place, and I'm really happy about it, and hoping to make another step of improvement from Saturday to this weekend against Oregon and Eugene. Thought the guys played really hard. Effort was there. This is a different beast this week. Just watching Oregon on film, a great team with a lot of talent, and looking at that coaching staff. I know a lot of the coaches personally, and the ones I don't know have great reputations in the game of football and coaching. So I know that watching the film, they're well coached. And they made a huge improvement from week 1 to week 2 in their level of execution. And I know they played against Eastern Washington. That's a perennial power in the FCS division. They've beaten FBS teams before, and even P5 teams. So to score that many points on a team like that's actually tough and well coached. That has our attention, and so we're looking forward to the matchup and being on the road with our guys, and hopefully we can get some improvement going and show up at our best this weekend. It'll be a great matchup, a great challenge for us, and looking forward to the game, and really honored to have this opportunity to go out to Eugene and to play the game against a really good and ranked Oregon team. So, any questions?
All right, thank you. Jared Lloyd, you have the first question.
You talked about the effort, and there's an interesting balance when it comes to effort and execution. I thought there were a couple of penalties against Baylor and some miscues that happened because guys are trying really hard. How do you strike that balance, particularly when you go on the road to a place like Autzen? You got to be disciplined in that sense.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think effort is desire to make the play doesn't mean that you just lose your senses, So trying to make sure that our guys have the right mindset going into every play, and it's never perfect. So we know our guys make mistakes, but it's okay. We learn and get better from them. And where it becomes a problem is if our players are making the same mistake repeatedly. Then there's a problem from the coaches. They're not communicating well to the players, or the players probably not in the right mindset. So I'm looking forward to the challenge because it'll be a good defining moment for our guys on the team. We talk about our depth and having a lot of experience and veterans. They'll put us to the test. I've been in that environment. I've been in that stadium. It's a tough place to play, and not a lot of teams come out of there successful. So we will be, like I said, I'm looking forward to the challenge, and mindset is go out there, have fun, work hard during the week, and make sure that we do our best, and the best versions of ourselves will show up on Saturday.
James, and then Kevin.
Kalani, having just played Baylor, how similar are they stylistically as a defense? Because I know that Dan and Tosh and Matt Pallage run a lot of the simulated pressure stuff that Dave is running, but we've only had a 2-game sample here of exactly what their iteration is. So how stylistically similar to what you just saw is this Oregon defense?
Yeah, very similar. And you mentioned I know Tosh, and I've been around since he first became assistant at a young age, So I know he's picked up a lot of. You look at the experience that he's had and the people that he's been able to work with, and the roles that he's had. He's setting up his defense perfectly well, and then to have Dan and that in the same room with him. I mean, those guys, they'll have this group ready, and you're right. Stylistically, they're doing a lot of things that are similar, but I think they're utilizing their talent really well, and you see the scheme and the strategy that they have on the defensive end. They're great coaches, man. I mentioned earlier that the coaching staff is really impressive. I know those guys, and they'll have the team ready, and you can see it on film that the players are buying into their coaches and buying into the scheme and the technique that they're asking them to execute. And I know they'll be ready, so we got to make sure that we're ready on our end.
Kalani, when you looked at the offensive line in the game film, did you see anything that you might want to tweak to open up the run game more, or was it more about what Baylor was doing? When you looked at it, what did you kind of see from them?
Probably a little bit of both. I think there was a difficult matchup. I mean, Baylor did some unique things up front, but if we're going to want to, have some success running the ball, then we need to do better. So, but I think we can do better. I imagine that Oregon's going to watch the film and try to do maybe some things similar, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I think I trust A-Rod and the offensive staff, and I trust our offensive line, our players to get it rolling. I mean, we were able to put some points up. I think you're looking at some missed opportunities that we had from film from this last game. Let's just keep working on it and learning from it. I trust Jaron as a quarterback and the leadership on our team, so we'll just keep working with it. But yeah, I think you want to tweak things and you want to find ways to get better, but you can't just abandon your identity either.
Jay and then Jake.
Kalani, I wanted to ask you about your tryout program and specifically how Jacob Boren came through that, tried out and made it. Is that something you've always had to, throughout your career, have that sort of program? And then what about Jacob made him make the team?
Well, Jacob's a great player. First of all, just tons of speed, and he's just tough. I mean, he's a resilient young man, and to come up the way he did and make a not just a impact, but get on the field and play significant reps for us. That's hard to do for any program. And but our program and our team, we're into development. And so when we're looking at tryouts and we're looking at potential, when we look at recruiting, we're looking at potential and what this young man could be in the future, not just right away. So I think there's a sense of getting guys on the field as soon as possible. That can happen too, but we believe in putting some time and some energy in these young men and having them develop into something. And I think that's Jacob Bourne's a great example of that. Same with Peyton Wilgar. There's a lot of guys that can go down the line of people that just, we're a developmental program where we want to buy into developmental players, but at the same time, some guys only need a couple months to develop. So, but we're interested and we're committed to putting in a significant amount of time in our players, and that has to happen when you're working with the missionary program that we have. A lot of guys come back and they're not ready to perform physically right away. So we'll take our time doing that.
Kalani, we saw a very tight rotation offensive line-wise Saturday night. I think Campbell Barrington was the only guy who rotated in there. Was that a conscious decision or just kind of how the game played out?
Yeah, I trust Coach Funk to get the O-line ready. So, I mean, that's I think we have a mindset that we can use a number of different lineups and different players on the O-line, but we kind of go with the feel of the game too. So that's and then you're always dealing with a few little nagging bumps and bruises and injuries like that. So we have to make adjustments, and I trust A-Rod and Funk to get the rotation on the O-line in the best position for us to have success on offense.
James and then Jared.
Kalani, Ducks fans certainly know about Kingsley and his short time here, and obviously going on to play for you guys and be a starting player for you guys. Since he's been at BYU, just what has Kingsley brought to you guys? And I know obviously he's in the starting lineup. How's he been playing for you?
No, he's awesome. But it's the other stuff. Just not just the thing. I mean, on the field, it's pretty easy to see what he can do. I mean, he's got so much talent and athleticism for a big guy, and very high ceiling. And so, game ready. And we knew that when he came to us that we were going to get something special. We knew him when he was, coming out of high school. I've known him his whole life. So you could see the talent. But it's the things that he brings off the field that matter for us and fits with our culture. He loves being a part of this team and loves his teammates, and I think he feels really comfortable being here. And he's a hometown guy, so I think he feels comfortable in our offense and comfortable with our coaches. So I know that he has a lot of appreciation for Oregon. He's mentioned that before to us, and he's looking forward to this matchup too. It's not. I don't think there's anything like any ill feelings or anything like that. He's a kid that shows a lot of gratitude and humility, and I'm just really proud to be his coach.
Kalani, there's been a lot of attention to that image on ESPN's broadcast of Jaren embracing Jake. We talked about it after the game, but that I wanted to have you address the culture, because that seems to be something that you want your guys doing. Because every player is going to make mistakes, like you mentioned earlier, but that idea of really embracing them when they're down and building each other up, how important of that is that culture to the success of this program?
Well, I think we talk about learning and loving and trusting each other. I trust all our guys, our leaders on our team, to take care of everyone, and I'm really proud that and that's probably the one that you saw. I didn't even know that happened. I was obviously not watching the game on TV. I was watching it on the sideline, but it's the ones that the cameras didn't catch too. It's all the hugs and our players showing that their love for him, in the locker room, things like that, and it's hard to see your brother that's down, and disappointed, and so it's good for these guys to pick each other up, and a lot of teams do that. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and brag about it with our players, but I feel really good that our players feel empowered to do things, and for me, it's like allowing them to do things that I think fit what they're raised to do, and that's just love their teammates and embrace the fans and love the opportunity that they have to compete.
Sean and then Jay.
Coach, it seems like another week there's another Utah high school football product and a really good defensive one that you guys are facing. Obviously, last week it was Apu. What do you make about Noah Sewell, though, up at Oregon? And just as a defensive guy, like, what do you see in his game that he's really flourished, I think, up in Eugene?
I mean, it's what everybody sees. He's a great talent. He's big, strong, explosive, great football IQ. He's got that running back background and offensive mindset too. So he knows where to fit on the run. He has you look at the family. They're basically built for football, and so and they love the game. I know the family real well, and he is a great product of what that family does, and they put out great football players. But he's a great young man too. Those guys they love each other, and that love that they have, that brotherly love that they have in that family, extends to their teammates. And so he's doing some great things. He's been doing great things since he first got there, and so it's been impressive to watch him on film. And now I'm watching it closely because we're going against them, but just really happy for his success. And he's a great talent. So really cool to see these guys out there doing. And there's guys on the roster that I recognize from from recruiting and also from the local high schools here. And I know they're excited about this game too. So it's going to be a lot of fun to see those guys before and after the game.
Kalani, it was a really tough, physical, emotional game Saturday night. How do you get your guys to rebound from that and for another, which could also be emotional, hard-hitting game?
Yeah, you get back on it, and we have a veteran group that's used to the weekly grind of football, and so you get over it, you learn. But today there's mistakes that we need to learn from, and that we need to make sure that we don't see them. There's a couple mistakes that showed up that I didn't like from week 1 to week 2, but for the most part, the guys have improved in everything that we were asking them to improve on. But the result of the game is not going to get in the way of us learning and getting better. So whether we win or lose, the goal is to get better and to move on. And we're going through our Monday mechanics now, which is learn and get better and get ready for our opponent. That's the focus.
We'll take the last question from Mitch.
Kalani, how motivating is it for your guys to continue their winning streak over Pac-12 teams?
I don't think anybody's thought about that until you said it. I haven't even thought about it. Our team doesn't think like that. We're just happy to play another game, so I'm not going to go into all the side stories and stuff like that. We're going to be focused on this game, this opponent, this week, and what we see on film. And what we see is a really talented football team with a really quality, really good and just great quality of coaches. And so this is their first year, and they're starting to get things. You can see it from week 1 to week 2, and we're expecting their best coming this Saturday. Like I've said this every week, we just need to make sure that we bring our best as well.
Thank you so much, Kalani.
All right, guys, thanks.